Good evening, dear friends, and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. It is Friday night, and when the three of us are here all together on a Friday night, we play Traveller. It's been a long time since we've last played Traveller together. Ewan has gone and got on a David Dickinson mahogany tan. Um, I've got my guns out, and Ben is his IQ has gone up by another 5 points. I don't know how it's possible, but it seems to just keep going, and we just can't stop it. Well, it's a pleasure to be here for you, dear friends, new and old. And tonight, in a 1 day's delayed celebration of May Day, which is of course Traveller Day, we are bringing to you our ongoing favouriteest game of all. We'll run for maybe a couple of hours this evening with a break in the middle for those with weak bladders, which at our age includes all three of us. And for those that also have the need to get more alcohol, which at our age is the three of us. And we encourage you guys to stay for as long or short of those 2 hours as you so wish. Please feel free to chat or lurk, whichever you feel fit to do. We will join in if we're not busy in game. We tend to chat along with you as well, and things that are said in the chat sometimes come onto stream, so on and so forth. People might come in. If you're new here, people might come in, might say hello. We're quite unprofessional in that regard. We're welcoming and friendly, we like to think. So if you're looking for that total immersion and professionalism, what can I say, really? Not going to be here. But we bring a charm, I like to think, a certain beardy charm, and we hope that you enjoy your time here. If you want to spend some points, click on the red sun. We've got some Imperial credits. I've got quite a lot on today. Anything dark pink should make a noise. I think it's working. Generally, the more expensive things have more of an effect on the game, but we keep it cheap for expensive. And we go all the way down to 1 credit and 1 credit only, which is I'll drink to that. If you click on that, it's if you agree with something, you can click for 1 credit, and then we'll all raise a glass to whatever was said, and we'll hear or whatever before we carry on. Or you can make someone hit someone for no reason in the game, or make Stefan steal something for no reason in the game, or just celebrate brunch, or celebrate Agnar. Why not? Or get us to talk about something for a minute. Have a flick through. Name an NPC, give us a boon, make one of us tell a story. Whatever you want. Just enjoy it. You can't take the points with you, can you? So use them. Now, luckily for me, dear friends, I'm not here alone because it'd be very lonely. I'm joined by two of the greatest people that you could ever be in a roleplay stream with, and those that are regulars would know that I'm right in this. I'm very blessed to be able to play with some amazing friends, and the two most amazing, most special friends are here tonight. My name is Luke. I play Kara and Savraya, a hacker and a jack of all trades, and I'm joined tonight by a man whose skill set surpasses theirs combined. He is my brother from another mother, the housewife's favourite, a Floofmeister General. Because he turned up late, he's had to go at the bottom because of layering of the videos, and it hurts my heart for him to be so far away. He is the beautiful Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Oh, Luke, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Thank you for the kind words. Although it must be said, I'm feeling the pressure somewhat, slightly, seeing as it's our May Day stream, and we're. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think we're on the brink of overthrowing a government, aren't we? Which feels very apt. If we were to make it through in one session tonight, I mean, it's not going to happen because we spend 4 hours shopping and another 4 hours talking about mortgages. But it would be a nice coincidence.
It would be. I think there's still some toasted sandwiches left on the Baltic Star as well that we haven't finished. So yeah. But we might get down there at some point. And if we do, Ewan, who are you taking down there with you?
For toasted sandwiches, I'm definitely taking Agnar Lansson, who is our floofiest of floofy, former military general, Varga. daddy of the group. And I'm also going to take Stefan because, we don't want to have to pay for any toasted sandwiches. Not that we would on the Baltic Star, but it's more or less a guaranteed if he's with us because he is our human sneaky space person.
He truly is. I feel like the two of them are very much an amalgamation of you and both sides of your nature.
Whoa. Allegedly. I don't want this to get called up in any court cases.
This week, would you say on the balance of it, have you been more Ragnar or more Stefan?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say more Ragnar this week. It's been a low-key kind of chill. Not much sneaking has been going on.
Not much sneaking. Not many bathrobes.
No, not many bathrobes this week. Actually, I should get a bathrobe. Just to wear for stream.
Ah, don't.
Cosplay Stefan.
You'll excite Sparrow if they come in. Well, the one person who we can always rely on to excite Sparrow is the man who tonight is in the middle of the two of us. He's the smartest man in any room, who lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence and is often found in Faversham, sat in a sedan chair carried atop the shoulders of six heavily oiled Eastern European men, but maybe not for much longer if reform get their way. He is a bit of satire for you there, dear friends. He is the queen of Faversham and always will be, whoever's in charge. He is our delightful Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yes, I'm very well. Very much looking forward to some Traveller, especially on May Day.
It's a special time for all of us, Ben. It's a special day for those Traveller fans, and you've been a Traveller fan for longer than most.
Yeah, not quite technically since Traveller was first launched, but certainly since about 1980, 81. It's been a while.
Back in those dark and brutal days, did you lose many characters to character generation? As was the meme?
Yes, it did happen on occasions. Not all the time, obviously, but sometimes. And there were some who, when you got them out of character creation, you decided, I don't like him very much anymore.
You wish they died.
So you sort of abandoned him at that point, because he'd ended up going through some stuff, and he'd developed a background that you thought, I can't play that background.
Interestingly, you and I have been talking recently about how we like the idea of running a Traveller with people with absolutely no military skills whatsoever. And because it would be possible, right? We've talked before, Ben, about how Traveller can be anything you want it to be.
Yes. I mean, you can, in theory, encompass anything in Traveller. It was designed originally so that you could take any universe that existed in the media and use the framework of rules to allow you to tell that story. So, a lot of the weapons and things like that are designed to be transferable into all sorts of different science fiction settings or non-science fiction settings. You could use Traveller to tell a story set entirely in medieval England if you wanted. It would be completely possible to have one with no military skills. You just have to accept that it wouldn't be the most violent of games if you wanted those characters to survive it, because Traveller can be a bit brutal when it comes to combat.
So I've heard. Not that we experience much combat in our games.
We don't really lean that way, no.
What do you think? How are you feeling with the way me and you and are? How you don't know how we're going to go about this. So do you think we're going to go about it in a more sneaky way, a more intriguey way, or are we going to go in guns blazing? What's your money on?
Well, my money is definitely not on guns blazing. That feels very out of character, not just for the characters, but also for you guys.
Shotgun fist blasting.
Experience tells me that if I carefully construct a situation where you have two clear paths, A and B, you will always pick K. So so it's not really worth worrying about what you're going to do. You just deal with it when it happens.
That's why you're so good, and we respect you and honour you. And that's it. We'll respect you and honour you by me shutting up finally and passing the floor over to you.
Okay. Well, a little bit of an introduction then. So things are getting crowded on the Baltic Star. Finally, all our travellers are back on board, but they've brought some guests. Tally Helinski, daughter of the governor on Darkmoon, has been brought aboard, along with Arlen Locke, sorry, Sir Arlen Locke, her fiance, and the man who intended to rescue her from the escapees from Darkmoon City who are living on the ice cap. Locke arrived with two others, his old friend Maggie Leaf, who is acting as his pilot, and Star Orica, who was acting as his engineer. I say was because his ship crashed into the ice cap and has been lost, probably for good. While some of the travellers braved the ice and the community there, split between the surviving original inhabitants of the planet, led by a man called Garaval, and the escapees from the city, led by the Varga Brack, it's not entirely clear they've made friends on the ice, but they certainly left without being shot or stabbed, so it's about as good an impression as they've ever made anywhere. Anyway, while that was going on, some of the travellers went out to sea on a kelp harvesting vessel. The trip was wildly unsuccessful in terms of the amount of kelp actually harvested and led to them coming under attack by a giant squid. But they did manage to capture some pictures of a vast array of carvings on the bottom of the deepest part of the ocean. As they left the planet, they also took another guest with them, Linto Sard, the loadmaster of the ship, who didn't fancy answering the inevitable questions that would follow their return to the city. So, on the Baltic Star, the lights dimmed, Kara displayed the images of the carvings for everyone to see. As soon as they saw them, Freya, a historian, and Zoe, a Zodani, immediately recognized them. They tell, in ancient Zodani, the legend of Zarasi. In the legend, a young Zodani woman is sent off to find a husband, but her ship is attacked by pirates. Instead of being sold at the next planet, she's kept as a trophy by the pirate captain. Eventually, she demonstrates her brilliance and he decides to marry her. However, she murders him on their wedding night. She convinces his crew to follow her instead, and her brilliance allows the pirates to eventually command a huge fleet. Finally, she decides that they should split their fleet and each ship should go and found colonies on uninhabited worlds. In the legend, there are hundreds of Zodani worlds founded by these pirates. Now, to this day, many Zodani worlds claim either to be the world that Zarasi came from or claim to be one of the worlds her pirates founded. After this explanation, Freya suggested that they might need some help with the ancient Zodani language, possibly finding a way to access a Zodani library. Meanwhile, Agnar and Kara discuss the odd parallels between the legend of Zarasi and the current situation involving Tally Helinski, governor's daughter, abducted and then found, maybe to return as a leader. Perhaps this might appeal to the traditionalist Garaval and his band of old Zodani survivors. They notice, however, that Linto Sard is staring pretty intently at Tally Helinski. When they question why he's so fascinated by her, he says, "We had some changes this year in how tight security is in the city, following the murder of Tally Helinski." And that is where we resume the story.
Oh. Kara's gonna look at Linto Sard, then look over at Tally Helinski, and then back at Linto Sard, and then back at Tally Helinski. Slowly back at Linto Sard. So are you telling me we've brought a dead person on the ship?
Well, that seems unlikely.
So if that's Tally Helinski, and Tally Helinski's alive, then it seems that the powers that be have told an untruth, or at least said something without realizing the truth. But either way, they seem to have found a good excuse to up the old security.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Did they say how she died?
Yeah, they said she was murdered by a terrorist.
Just terrorists called Brack by any chance?
That's the one.
We've met Brack. He and Tally seem to get on okay. Definitely more than a murderer and a murderee.
Oh, we might have lost a Ben.
We've lost a referee. Now that's the one person we can't go without.
It's all right. When he comes back, we'll just tell him that we played on without him.
Yeah.
The revolution went fine.
Beautiful.
It turned out exactly how we wanted. Nobody died except for the bad people.
Yes.
And the planet is now free.
I can't wait. And they've got all the different foods they like and all the different drinks they like, and the old Sudanis have been given their land back, and everything's wonderful, and all the squids are dead.
Oh, brilliant! Well, let's move on to another planet.
Next planet, right? Let's go. Let's jump.
Well, hi Ben.
Timing, Ben.
I hope you don't mind. We carried on in your absence.
No, I'm sure that sounds brilliant. Yeah, whatever you said is
our
now
rolls. The dice rolls.
They're so
amazing.
hot tonight.
Oh, if only you could see it.
The good news is I can put you back at the bottom, Ben, where you belong, and
quite right.
Don't get freaked out.
That was the plan all along.
There we go. Things are good again. Did they go into detail about how she was killed, or were they surprisingly vague on that?
In the story, she was taken hostage and they fled the city. And then they killed her once they got away.
Didn't that seem odd to anybody that they took her out of the city and then they killed her? Like, why wouldn't they just kill her in the city?
Because dead people aren't as good as a hostage.
But they killed her anyway.
But that was after they were away.
Yes, but some time after they were away, you mean?
Well, once they were outside the
immediately
immediate range of, gunnery on the city and that kind of thing, yes.
Right, so a hostage to escape. That makes sense. How long ago was this?
About a year, I think.
So to the general populace, Tally's been dead for a year.
Was there? I assume there was all official mournings, some flowers, sort of a parade or something. I guess.
Not what you'd call mourning, no. More a series of security clampdowns and searches and punishments and, that kind of thing.
You strike me as a man, from having spent time with you, dear Mr. Sard, that you take what the powers that be say, but you've learned to keep your true thoughts on the matter to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
On the ship, you see, we're very different. We owe no one our secrecy. Did you believe everything? Did it seem reasonable at the time?
Yeah, it did. I mean, the escape of a group of people was obviously known about. We heard the alarms go off and things of that nature. and if they'd been, executed or something of that nature, then it would have been announced that they had been. So it didn't seem unlikely they'd take a hostage, and it didn't seem unlikely they'd kill the hostage. We didn't really have any reason to doubt it.
Hmm.
You say people were punished during the security crackdowns. Was anybody punished internally for the event itself?
Yes. Yes, there were a few people associated with the escape who were blamed for security lapses or failing to do their jobs.
So a real living, breathing Tally Helinski could potentially anger some people and embarrass some others.
Certainly possible.
Mr. Sard, let me lay some cards out on the table for you. But we've been talking with Tally, or we've been talking with her good a good man, her partner here, um, Sir Locke. She sort of looks to Agnar. She's said it wrong so many times.
Nods approvingly.
Sir Locke. Who's apparently he's been prepped to take over as the big boss man on the planet when your current big boss man wanders off into retirement. As the powers that be get the opportunity to do. You guys slave all day until the day you die, and when he's done, he can head off to play zero G golf on some fancy planet somewhere, pina coladas on the beach. All the fancy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think we can be honest with you. You came with us. You took a real leap of faith, and you got nothing to go back to, as such. And you'll hear the whisperings around over the next little while, anyway. And we're not keeping anyone hostage here, that's for sure. But we're looking at ways to install our new friends into leadership sooner rather than later. You see, he's a man who would, if he ruled, would rule more with a velvet glove than an iron fist. And
I see.
if it wasn't to work out, he would look at making the changes and allowing people off planet and sort of closing it all down and letting people that are in the darkest recesses return to better lives. But for what we want, we need people who have knowledge, and of all the people that we've come across, you, my dear man, are the man who would know those sort of those middly layers, the common folk, the workers, more than anyone else, I'd say. Wouldn't you say, Agnar?
I would say certainly certainly out of all the people whose names we know on the planet.
Yeah, because we don't know many names, actually, do we? We were thinking about it earlier, weren't we, Agnar?
Oh, I wouldn't say famously, but it's definitely true. I don't think many people know about it, and if they did, we wouldn't know what to call them anyway. So, but yes, we were discussing, and I think my friend Cara here often has a good insight into people, and I trust her very high opinion of you, shall we say?
You had our backs in the ocean. You're capable, competent, and you accepted us in the crew even when we made terrible mistakes. And you seem like a smart man. You jumped and joined us, at least for now. As long as you want to. And that showed a wisdom of your position, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably.
Well, I guess we want to make we want to
Accidental.
make it we want to make the situation better for all of those guys on your boat, and the other boats, and the scientists, and the guys packing boxes, and the guys down deep around the pit. What do you say, Mr. Sards? Would you be interested in helping us out? We can make it as undangerous for you as you want, really. You can stay on the Baltic Star, stay on the radio, give us a bit of information. You don't need to come face forward to anything. And if you don't, we'll still take you to wherever you want to go.
I'll tell you what. Can you roll a persuade for me, please, with intellect?
Can we both do it? As we've both been talking to him.
Yes, and you can have social if you prefer, rather than intellect.
Thank you.
Certainly do.
Oh, I'll take intellect.
Especially as I haven't been warming up my dice.
Oh, I'm groovy, baby. 14. Oh,
14.
Mine's an 11. It's an 8 plus 3.
Teamwork makes dream.
11 and a 14.
Oh, you're back. The fist bump can happen again. Now you're down below.
Wait,
Okay.
Your tiny little fist.
that was terrible.
That
Sorry.
was terrible. That's all right.
I wasn't really paying attention.
I'll
Trying
fix
to
it.
watch on my phone,
I'll
and
fix
the
it in edit.
notification popped up. Thanks. Get it in post.
He thinks about it for a moment, and then he says, I'm a man who doesn't believe in taking unnecessary risks. But this risk is a necessary one. Just tell me what you need.
Oh, you're a good man. Have you tried the toasted sandwiches, by the way? Cara sort of reaches out and grabs a plate that's on the end that Rose has finished with, a couple of them, and hands it to him. I don't know what flavour these are, but these are good. Rose, what flavour are these?
Fish.
There you go. Oh, man, poor man lives on fish. Well, there you go. At least it involves bread. There you go. Oh, I'm sure you don't get too much bread.
She tries it and it's like, it's actually pretty good.
Only the best here on the Baltic Star. You wait until we get you onto Agnar's secret stash of whiskey.
Well, that is a different subject matter.
Haven't had
Rose,
whiskey in a while.
Well, maybe now would be the time.
Oh yeah, please.
I'll stand up and say, Rose, I had a thought whilst we were talking about toasted fish sandwiches. Have you ever thought about putting the fish into breadcrumbs and then putting it in a toasted sandwich? Like doubling up on the bread, but different.
Doesn't the bread sort of include breadcrumbs?
Well, not, like dried out breadcrumbs. Maybe sort of break the fish up, reconstitute it, coat it in some breadcrumbs, deep fry it, and then put it in a toasted sandwich. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? Nah, forget about it. Don't worry.
Sounds like stuff you'd feed a child in order to get them fish without them knowing what they're eating.
Yeah, maybe that's a good way to pitch it. Maybe I'm sure there's some members of the crew who are adverse to fish. Soraya told me she hates this stuff. We could trick her.
Yeah, well, we can obviously take a look at whatever you like. Breadcrumbs. You don't find breadcrumbs. I guess we'll have to make some by just destroying some bread. That could be fun.
Crumbing bread. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be back and I'll put it off. to go and find a medium bottle of whiskey. By his standards, not the best, but
Yeah.
certainly something
Yeah,
high up.
an okay tipple.
Yeah.
Kara sort of takes Sard's elbow basically and sort of leads him off to one of the more conspiratorially placed tables, Ben, in one of the darker corners of Baspar, maybe.
I mean, there aren't really darker corners, but
No,
there are certainly
in a
quiet.
lit circle. Very few dark corners.
Conspiratorial tables.
Yeah, it's not only completely round the
Yeah.
bar, but
Notoriously
but
lacking
also
in some corners.
it's on a starship. It's really quite well lit.
Turn the lights off. As she does, she sort of looks out and she says, Tally, Sir Locke, would you be willing to join us, our friend here, Agnar and myself, for a drink and a chat?
They both glance over and wander across. They're quite relaxed about being with each other and with you guys. You've done nothing but show them kindness so far. Remember?
No, that's true. Cool. Grab a seat. Grab a seat. I think Agnar's just getting some. He said it was going to be his very best stuff, so I hope he's not shorting us on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big whiskey drinker, so you'll have to let me know. Mr. Locke, you struck me as a man. Sir Locke, you struck me as a man who might know a whiskey.
I do know my whiskey.
That's good. That's good. Well, hopefully, my dear friend won't let you down in that. Agnar, where are you? You come on, man. Come here up.
Hold on, clinking of bottles. Got it. And he'll scamper back. Here. Pops it down on the table. This is the this is the Dark Star Reserve.
Oh.
Beautifully aged, according to the label Beyond Time. I'm not sure that's necessarily true, but it is distilled at the edge of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
A smoky ion char on the nose, deep molten toffee on the palate. Please let me, and he'll pour out some glasses. Now it's best sipped, but there's a whole bottle to go through, so I won't take offence if anyone knocks theirs back. To new friends, would you say, Cara?
Oh,
To new
very much
comrades.
So. Oh, to new comrades.
They all have a little sip and say to new comrades. And
Rose, can I get a mimosa, please? This isn't doing it for me.
sure, on the way.
Cheers, babes.
And Sard looks across at Tally and says, "You're looking good for a dead person." And she looks a little bit baffled. I'm not a dead person. Yeah. It's a surprise, frankly. But it's good to see you're alive. Lots of people will be quite confused, in fact. Anyway, sorry. I should let our hosts get on.
No. I'm glad you've been able to see our dear friend Tally in the flesh right in front of you. That she is indeed alive, despite what your father has told everyone. Tally. Apparently, he's taken it as an opportunity to up the security even higher than when you left. Apparently, your friend Brack has killed you.
Oh, I see.
At that point, Agnar will turn to their new friend, and I know you might not necessarily know this, but would that seem an accurate description of what happened? Would you put money on it being Governor Helinsky, or would it be one of the other, should we say, controlling powers on the world?
He gives it some thought. And then he says, actually, let me roll for him.
Mhm.
All right. He says, if it were my guess, I would guess that the governor doesn't know either way. If the way it was told to us was she was killed after they made it to the ice, the Guardians didn't chase them there. And they report basically back to the governor, which means it would probably be the safety office who told the governor what happened based on their intelligence network and their observations.
Jalek Jin.
Jalek Jin.
Jalek Jin. Yeah, of course.
Now he's a man who believes in dirty work, so it's possible the governor simply took his word for it.
I can certainly understand how the person in charge of the secret police would like security measures to be heightened.
Yeah. I mean, we've always believed he has a hand in the Guardians as well. They officially report to the governor, but he's got a lot of fingers in a lot of different pies, Jalek Jin.
All these hands and fingers up people. Now, how do you think, Mr. Sard, how do you think the people would react to Tally's return? Would she be safe in a return then with the Guardians, with Jin? Because if we wanted to bring her back, we could try and bring her back in person, or we could. Like in my past, I've one of my great moments, I suppose, one of my greatest and my darkest moments, I suppose, was hacking into this system on a planet and revealing truths. Made me a wanted person, that's for sure. But what if we did something similar here? And could we get people on side before even being planet side? Could we sort of send something to the governor that might soften his heart to the situation if he maybe is being tricked? Is Jin our main enemy in this?
If we were able to get a message direct to the governor, that might answer the question. I mean, would he take a direct call from you guys?
I think he would. We've met him, haven't we, Agnar? We've made some plans to refuel the Deep Night, haven't we?
Yes, I think we certainly gave off a better impression than is perhaps accurate. But we did have a meeting. I'm sure they might take a phone call. It seems safer, I suppose, from my layman's position, not knowing the lay of the land. I would very much imagine that if it was the secret police who spread the rumours of Tally's death, that as soon as we land on the planet and step into one of those scanners, where you enter, that perhaps they'll know that Tally has arrived before anyone else, or before we're able to spread the word to anyone else. Perhaps.
I mean, if the governor's genuinely been kept in the dark, then he might be very happy to see his daughter. And then you could arrange to fly your own shuttle in and land it on the top of the city rather than use one of their routine shuttles.
Mm.
And that could bypass some of the security. But it depends how good a liar he is. I mean, if he's in on it, you'd be walking straight into a trap. If he isn't, he could perhaps clear the way for you. But if Jin is still his confidant, bad things could happen. It's a risk.
Speaking of power players, Polina, she's totally untrustworthy, right? Can't touch her with a barge pole.
Polina, she's practically a bedtime story that you tell children to make sure they eat their vegetables, you know?
Which is a sick joke considering there's no vegetables on the planet.
Every joke on Darkmoon is sick.
So if we go through your dad, Tally, it's in the hope that he was kept in the dark. And if he was, either he invites us with open arms or not. If he was in on it, either he's in a position of power now, or he invites us in and it's a trap. It's a hell of a play to make, Agner. We're taking a chance either way, right?
Yeah. Have we got better options? Should we discuss what our other friends might be doing?
Which ones? The icy guys?
Well,
we know that Brack is Brack's
measured?
interested, isn't he? He's what? Measured?
I was going to say more measured. Yeah.
More measured, yeah.
But yeah, certainly. I think they've all got a stake in what's going on.
What's right? Sir Locke, what's how do you feel about being thrown into this? As you know, Tally's his daughter, right? And you'd like to think a father has at least some love for his daughter or something, but you are his sort of his Padawan. That's a word which I believe means sort of I don't know, like the underling to a master, maybe. I've made it up.
It's not Varga.
No, it's not. It's not Varga. It might be old Zodani words that I found when I was researching. But no, it's quite cool. It might catch on. But how do you feel he'd react to you landing on planet side?
Well, first of all, not long after I got a message saying that Tally had been abducted, her father contacted me and told me that she'd been killed. And I came anyway, intending to punish those who'd killed her, even if I couldn't rescue her.
Hence the ship.
But I never really truly believed she was dead. But I think he did. And to me, he looked like he was grieving.
There's one
How
way.
good of a... Sorry.
I was going to say, Agnar, how good. There's one way for sure we can find out whether he is grieving, whether he is lying. I've still got truth serum, Agnar. Can we get into
Are
another
you
meeting tonight?
suggesting we break in, drug the governor, find out whether he's lying, and then if he's not lying, we bring him his daughter and hope that the rest of the revolution goes to plan?
We've been talking about going to the planet. What if we hide up these guys in the hold by the eggs and invite him up for a drink on our terms, welcoming, a nice welcome, and thank you for having us. He might not. We got, drug a drink into the evening, have a chat, see what the vibe is. Yes,
Yeah,
again, it's playing a hand, isn't it? So it is still hurting us at some bits.
it's one I feel much more comfortable with, though. You'll have to answer this question because you're much more tech savvy than I. It's because you're so young, obviously.
The youth, and you're so old.
Precisely, relatively speaking.
Relatively.
How likely are they to scan the ship? Would they know how many people are on board? Where people are? Could we hide them?
I think,
because otherwise, it's just as risky. It feels almost just as risky.
I'd imagine you'll have to speak to Oh, we've lost Ben. Let's pause for a sec.
That's a good point to pause. Build up the tension. Who have I got to speak to?
Who is there? Is there anyone?
Could be anyone.
Who is there to speak to?
Johnny.
It's all right. Johnny knows. It's all right. We've worked out everything, Ben. It's okay. We've done it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not possible. Apparently, the technology just doesn't exist.
Does not exist. All right.
I think if it does, it's worth speaking to Rachel, right? Rachel has some knowledge, and Soraya's got knowledge with the sensors. If we can speak to the nerds,
Soraya would probably be a good call.
Yeah.
Before we do, sorry, Sir Locke, how good of a judge of character would you say you are? Or not necessarily character, but people's how good of a read do you have on people, generally speaking?
Well, let me look at his stats for a sec.
That'll be the telling part.
Pretty good.
Do I believe him, Ben? It's not, I'm joking.
You can make a roll if you like.
No, it's fine. There is no reason to. I just thought it would be a...
Yeah, he's fairly confident that he reads people okay.
Okay.
That actually backs up what Thingy said, wasn't it? Freya, not Freya. What's the name who came down to the planet? Syl said that about him pretty much. I think that he's good with people, sort of thing, rather than necessarily getting his hands dirty. He's a good judge and things like that.
Yeah.
So you're that back.
Well, that certainly is good to know. That makes me feel more confident about the situation.
Well, that's
Soraya.
Yes.
Sorry, were you doing something while this was happening?
Just finishing a mouthful of cheesy balls that she just thrust in there. She sort of slaps Stefan on the back because he's been making a terrible joke. Absolutely terrible joke.
Oh.
Let's go. Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry. We're just here chilling with the working class over here. She sort of winks at Star Orica. What do you want?
Come over here. Come quick. Let's go to them. And Agnar will stand up and wander over.
Mimosa? She holds out a fresh glass.
Oh,
Mimos?
thanks.
Cheesy ball?
No, I'm okay for the cheese balls, but thanks.
Uh,
I filled up on
cheesy
the cheesy ball
ball
toasties.
toasted
They were good.
sandwich.
I've had a lot. I will have one more of those.
I've got another. Rose just gave me one of these. She called it a breadcrumb toasted sandwich.
What?
I don't know. She said it was a work in progress.
Why would you put breadcrumbs in a
I
in
don't
bread
ask
and then
her.
toast?
She
Oh,
demanded
go
that
on,
I
then,
try.
I'll try one. Most of these have been pretty good, to be fair. Most
Oh,
of her creations have been wonderful.
she's
Oh, I've got a
skilled.
really important question.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Our whole plan hinges on it.
Whew. I'm glad you're asking
Say,
Stefan.
for example, we were hiding people or other items. Hiding people on the ship.
People, yeah.
Would people be able to detect them if they had the right equipment? Could they scan our ship and be like, there's 22 people on there. 3 of them look like they're in a really shady position, like they're hiding. Or is that not possible?
So you want to know if they can scan for life forms, if they can scan beyond that and get a better idea of who it is, more than life forms, and as well as scanning the number of life forms, the geographical position of life forms on the ship.
Not necessarily, but whether they could get the impression that someone's hiding on a ship just by scanning us,
Well,
and more importantly, whether that's available on this sort of planet's.
it's not the highest tech level as far as from places we've been to be honest. I'm sure you mentioned the tech level, Ben, as well, early days.
I probably did. I can't.
It weren't particularly high, was it?
Not
got to find
especially.
no.
I don't think. Hang on a second. Let me
It's all those kelp circuit boards.
It was like Earth and a bit, I think.
look it up.
It weren't massive. Got to try and find it. Hang on.
I have it here. It is.
Oh, that's the shop. Here we are. Or it's at the end of last season.
7.
Yeah, so it's Earth, isn't it?
Yeah. It's primitive compared to us, even.
Yeah. So even though they're getting some stuff from the powers that be, sorry, I sort of takes that in mind. Well, Tech 7 then, and we've got gear better than that, a lot better than that. But then we've got to decide whether they can do that. Let me just run some numbers in my head quickly. She gazes off into the middle distance as it's almost as if dice are rolling in her head.
The eyes
So,
around.
Yes. Can you roll for me? It's probably general knowledge at this point, so you can go with any kind of tech understanding based on your scout career, using either your jack of all trades or
I've got sensors. Would that count?
Yeah, if you've got sensors,
I've
that's
got
even
sensors,
better.
yeah. Okay, my sensors is 2. Is it? And is that with education or intellect or something?
With education, yeah.
Education, yes. That is a 6 plus 2 is 8.
Okay. Then what you would know is this. Sensors for detecting life forms inside other ships are very, very hard to build and don't readily exist, because the things you could obviously track, like the sort of gases and stuff of that nature, you can't be observed through the hull. Heat signatures obviously don't cross a vacuum in space. And so the only reliable way to track things like this is using a piece of technology that can actually track the electronic signals in brains and return basically the presence of intelligent beings inside a ship.
Wow, so it won't count CAGs. So
Probably
we
not.
might pass someone off for that.
They are, however, extremely rare, extremely expensive, and very, very high tech level.
Okay.
I mean, there are places in the galaxy we less likely to have something like that, but this is very, very unlikely to have one.
Yeah. Um, so I guess on a basic level, Agna, she says, popping another
Hmm.
cheese ball into her mouth, taking a pause, sipping a mimosa, sucking on the lovely wedge of orange that Rosa started adding to them to show off her bartending technique. Oh, lovely. What you're asking, stuff that would do life stuff, heartbeats, heat signatures, and that ain't gonna happen. That's fine. The only thing that would is like this crazy scanner thing that I've come across it like once in my life, but it sort of tracks electricity in brains, like an intelligent life. But like I said, once, man, these are rare. These are like rare. We're talking, tech levels multiple beyond these. We're talking the androids, the implants, the massive rail guns. Those sort of tech levels. Yeah.
Hmm.
People living for 430 years type stuff. That's not these guys. And to be honest, I know this is an Imperium. It's a business, but it's a backwater, in it. It's kelp. It's a slave, a borderline slave colony in a kelpie sea. This is not where they're going to be pushing high tech stuff. I would bet that we're safe. I could not give 100%, but I could give 99.95%. And we've gone into things
That's
with
a
a
lot of
lot,
percent.
and we've gone into things with a lot lower certainty, haven't we?
We have. We certainly have. Oh, thanks. Sterling work as always.
Uh,
Would come? Do you want to come over and join us? We've cracked open one of my special reserves. It's in fact it's the Dark Star reserve. Speaking of technology, did you know that it's got a mini gyroscopic core included in the stopper that always points towards Earth's magnetic field?
that's that wasn't the
And it's a nice
dark.
drink. You should try some.
Yeah, that's not Dark Star Reserve bottle number 3, is it? She looks a
Yeah.
bit. She looks
Do you not
awkwardly
a
at.
fan?
She looks awkwardly at Stefan.
Why? What?
No reason. No reason. No reason. No, I don't need to drink it. Oh, no, you carry on. We're happy here. You don't need. But if you need,
We've given it to our best guests, so you better not have done
have
anything
you
to it.
really? Are they good at telling what whiskey is?
What they
Stefan, I told you it was a bad idea. No, look, I'm okay here. I'm okay. Look, I say we can't get scammed. If you want to hide 30 sheep on here, 4 moamps, which we've got anyway, a big old squid, and 17 small children, they ain't gonna. No, you're not gonna do all that, though,
Okay.
are you?
No, of course not. Nothing ridiculous. We'll tell you when we've got a plan.
Okay, that's cool. Now, if you'll excuse me, Stefan and I have got some serious planning to do.
Okay. What about?
No, don't you worry. You go back and enjoy your whiskey.
No, what?
Whiskey? What
Okay.
whiskey?
Yeah. Sure.
That's how I say it. It's my accent. Why are you making fun of my accent, man? You've never
No,
done
no,
it.
no,
No,
I'm
no.
not. It's a
What's wrong?
beautiful accent. I love it.
Well, just because
It's
I'm out
perfect.
from that part of space.
Remember Benny? And he'll wander off awkwardly, having dug himself into a hole, apparently, but not. And I like to think when he returns to the table, he sits down quite poignantly, goes to address everyone, and just holds up a finger and takes a big whiff of his glass of whiskey just to see if anything seems off. Soraya seems to think that it's technology that's way beyond this planet. Very expensive, very rare. She's come across it once, I believe, in all of her travels. and 99.5, I believe, was the percent that she gave us of it not existing here.
Okay, then. So I guess we have a plan.
It certainly makes me feel a lot more confident about this plan. Cara?
I like it. Let's
Sniff the whiskey.
let's invite up the good governor. I don't know what he's like as a man, but we don't want Jin up with him. So if we can find a way to offer him up, maybe as a private thing to thank him and to discuss personal, personal bonuses towards it or something. I don't know, from the company, something that maybe might not want to share with the head of the Guardians.
That's a good idea. I like it.
But we could be very
We
welcoming.
could suggest that he brings up a press call to live broadcast the signing of the deal to secure the income from the planet from the ship that's following us. Have a little chit chat beforehand, and if we get a good impression that he means well, or that he didn't know, have Tally miraculously appear live whilst we're signing some kind of document. Jump out of a cake. That'd be a good one.
Rosie's going to need some
Rose is struggling with fish fingers. You think she's going to cope with an enormous cake?
And I joke, but I think the premise could potentially have
give
legs.
it 4 more weeks in jump, and she might be better with a cake.
maybe not the cake bit, but the rest of it. It's food for thought, I guess.
Well, that's it. That's the way you play it. Then it's either invite him up privately, find out privately through drugging if he's been legit, and if he is, privately announce Tally, but with maybe some insurance. If I set up something that can always be released to their media if it goes wrong, or we invite the media up for a bit more of a handshake, maybe send them on a tour, take them away, do some stuff so we can have a quiet talk with him, and have them there for a Tally unveiling.
Well, what if we go with that angle? What if we invite him up, have a little chat, drug him, find out the truth, and if that is the truth, then you can broadcast it to the planet, and we know that there's no delay. The information is getting directly to as many people as possible, and you can do the original hacky plan and combine the two.
Cara Alaska here. My subscribers haven't been getting much content recently. It'd be pretty cool. It'd be quite a coup.
You could pick up some more subscribers from people on world.
A coup would be a coup. Always good for numbers. Let's do it. Let's do it. If our friends are happy, it's when we're done. The plan is if we get out of it fine, we're off. Never coming back. It's these guys that have got to be. They'll be dealing with the aftermath.
And perhaps have we secured terms already? He looks over to Locke.
Locke thinks for a moment, and then he says, "This is what I think," and that's where we'll take our break.
Look.
Wonderful.
Right. In which case, while we all have a think, let's.
Indeed. Some of us more than others.
I like to keep my brain open and supple. Yes.
What's the old expression? Sometimes I sits and thinks, and sometimes I just sits.
Exactly. That is exactly. I might just head into the man box for a little while and not do much of anything. But for the rest of you, we'll be back in 5 minutes' time for the toast. So fill your glasses, of course, is the most important part of any stream, and then we'll continue with the last hour of the stream for the evening. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a bit. Let's put the music on. Let's put that on, and I'll have to tell you whoever that is. Cool. See you all in a sec. Bye. We're back, Ben.
It's time to recount another of the stories I was once told by our former ship's steward. I can't verify the accuracy of these stories. After all, he once told me he invented frowning. Once, he told me, he went on a mission across an ocean, but his ship was attacked, wrecked, and he sank to the depths of the sea. Thankfully, able to stay alive down there because he had technology at his disposal, he still had to find a way back to the surface before he ran out of air. In his version of the story, he found a vast undersea civilization and set about saving them from a great threat that they faced. Now, to put it bluntly, he didn't manage that. He didn't tell me this, but if he'd achieved it, that objective, then he'd have told me all about it. Perhaps, just perhaps, the skills of a great steward were not perfectly suited to solving oceanic threats of a vast nature. After all, any cocktail he mixed down there would turn a bit salty. Still, if there's one thing we know about our former steward, it's that the dangerous environment and the scale of the threat would never stop him from doing his best. He would enthusiastically embrace any danger. I admired that about him. It is, however, that willingness to accept terrible risks that has led to a tradition that we observe this evening. So please join me in raising a glass to the noble memory of the late, great Greyhill Bast.
To the late great Greyhill.
Great Greyhill Bast.
So, what Sir Arlen says is, I think it's a good plan. I think trying to appeal to the governor, a man I know a little, might, just might, be a good idea. And perhaps you could even tell him that I'm aboard the ship. It might make him more eager to come.
A worthy law, for sure.
I like it. So like come up here, two birds with one stone. Let's formulate a good deal, and we've got your good friend here. Or we got your good friend here. Let's have a nice evening in some way. I like it. No, that's good. So look, that's fantastic.
Cara, the substance. When you say nice evening, is it worth offering him an evening of fine dining aboard the Baltic Star and perhaps supplying Rose with what you have to go into the food? Or does it need to be administered in a different way?
He's a governor, so I was thinking fine dining was the way to go forwards, not hookers and blow. So, for a start, that's the approach, I think.
Yeah, of course.
As for my special substance, I suppose. I don't know. I can't remember. I haven't got my book. Hang on a sec. My truth serum. Let me have a double check, dear Ragnar. I don't want to sneak up behind him and try and jab him in the neck when he's a bit drunk. You know, it feels uncouth.
It feels very obvious.
I just feel like it's giving it away a little bit.
Nothing else.
It?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Let me just.
You sounded almost like you had some kind of high social standing then.
Me?
Must be said. Yes, you pronounced about 3 or 4 words in the middle of that sentence particularly well.
Did I really? It's all that time I've spent with you, I suppose. That's,
it must be. It must be.
Rubbing off. I did, of course, spend my time at university. It was art college, but still, there were some posh people there. The ones that got there
it's
because
art college.
Right, exactly. They didn't want to do a day's work in their life. They're making. I believe the modern term that they've been using around the systems is Nepo babies, I believe, or Nepo babies.
Mm-hmm.
Truth serum. Let me check. Let me read what it says. I've got one here. Let me read what it says.
I'm
Designed
going
to
to read
force
the
sights to
label.
Christian. Yeah. It's really
Oh,
small writing though. You wouldn't be able to read it without your secret
no,
glasses. You don't show
of
no
course.
that.
My monocle, you
Yeah,
mean?
it's the fact you wear two of them that I like.
Well, twice as good as one.
Twice as good as
Exactly.
one.
Yeah.
True serum designed to force a traveller to answer questions truthfully. That's in the big writing. It's tailored to the species. Yep, it is. Carries some risks. One dose. These are the risks. You know, the small writing.
May
One,
cause, do not exceed.
yeah.
Yes. I'm familiar with the medical.
One dose usually forces them to pass a difficult endurance check or be unable to lie for a certain number of minutes. That changes though, so we need to get in. We need to make sure that's our chance because it could just be 1 or 2 minutes. At the end, it does hurt them. Then they do become a bit unconscious, makes them vague and confused. But no, it seems and persuade. It would need to be potentially me questioning him, but within your realm of fine dining and generalissimo work. Um, no, I believe I can slip it into a drink, from what I can tell.
All right.
So it's this a goer. Let's uh, let's let's use it as a let's plan to use it, but as a last resort, if that makes sense. So Locke believes he can read the man. We're quite good at reading people, and you know if he's opened up after a couple of drinks, he may be quite honest anyway, and then we can just slip it in if we're not sure.
Okay.
You know.
So we should. I mean, we should certainly make plans for fine dining. I don't mean to belittle anything that we have aboard the Baltic Star, but it's certainly not. Look at all these shady corners. It needs to be well lit.
Famous for it,
Perhaps
the
some
Baltic Star.
candlelight would be quite
Oh,
quite
that'd be
apt.
nice.
Um,
Nice.
and we should probably inform Rose that we'll need some high quality food, and I would suggest that they are liberal with the pouring of the alcohol in the drinks,
Is it
if that's what we're aiming for.
is it also worth getting Kags particularly drunk early and getting him carried into his cabin?
It might be worth giving the guest list a once over to just to set the tone.
I wonder if it might be nice to see if Cat would come and serve with Rose as part of the serving team.
I think I see what you're going for.
She's always checking the book, isn't it? But keep Johnny. We'll get Johnny a shower and get him all dressed up to the nines just in case the governor's otherwise inclined.
Agnar looks over at Johnny. I think he could pass for. Yeah.
Pass for some sort of human.
Given the right circumstances, certainly.
And I can't guarantee that the truth serum doesn't taste of anything, so it might be worth you finding one of your weirder drinks that we know he hasn't had before, so he can't pull up a flavour being off.
Like this one. There's loads left.
It did taste a bit funny in my first mouthful.
No, precisely. That's what we're going for, isn't it? Or is it not? Are we going for something?
I don't know. It just tastes similar to another drink that Stefan got me a couple of months ago. Certain tint to it.
Hmm.
A bit claggy.
Well, maybe this one's it holds up. Maybe I'll crack a fresh bottle of this, or I'll see if there's anything else.
It sounds like a plan, though. Why don't you give him a call? You got on better with him. You've got the general vibes. We can. I'll spread the news with the rest of the crew about what the plan is. We can come up with a menu, spread it out, get the guys away that should be away. Make sure the bits of the ship are looking quite nice if he wants to have a little mooch around. and plan it for when best suits him.
What's the general premise? We've got Sir Arlen Locke here. And we wondered if he wanted to.
Maybe we could say it's pretty much our. We're not planning to
thank
stay much
you
longer.
and
Yeah, thank you for having us.
goodbye.
We're on our way. A leaving meal as a thank you, and and we have Sir Locke here as well. This sounds nice, I think.
Very nice. Yes, indeed. I like it. Okay.
Tell him we have the best chef in the Imperium.
Well, I think we should manage expectations. And whilst we do obviously have the best chef in the Imperium, our supplies are somewhat limited. I feel that they do the best with what they have. I will offer them fine dining and a night of revelry. Indeed. Do we have their? Did we get their contact details? I'll pull out his device and start scrolling through.
It's Darkmoon. Darkmoon 001, I believe.
Oh, okay. We'll dial Darkmoon 001.
You didn't really try that, did you?
There's it's not doing anything.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm sure we've got the details, and if not, I can find it for you. It's not that
Tally?
hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suppose you have a direct line to your father that you know of off the top of your head.
Just his personal comm number.
No, would you mind?
Absolutely.
Is that weird, Cara, that he didn't give it to us and we're calling on it? Is that suspicious? Should I go through the switchboard? Is that a better call?
Well, we've got it because Sir Locke's with us. And I'm sure Sir Locke's got
looks over to Sir Locke. Does that work?
I guess once you've explained to him why you're calling, yeah.
Perfect. Yes, please, Tally. Yes, please. And then Agnar whispers to Kara, you should probably explain to Tally what the plan is as well. Have we done that already?
She's sat there here. Shall I tell you what, Tally, why don't while the men are making the calls and doing all that blokey stuff, why don't we go over and have a ladies' drink?
Sure.
Boys will be boys, huh? Go on. Looks like the mimosas are strong tonight.
Sure. Yes, of course.
And we sort of get up and head over to the bar. I'm picturing that there's a group of the girls have sort of gathered around that corner now. Stefan's been shoved off a little bit because he's done something ridiculous. And Soraya and Starrica's there, and Rose is doing whatever she's trying to do to make her sandwiches and serve drinks, and they join them, and Sammy's lurking. Oh, it's a wonderful, heartwarming moment.
Oh, yes.
They're purposefully staying the other side of the pillar from Cag, so he can't get an easy look at them.
The man's only a lech when he's drunk.
Which is all the time, unfortunately.
Yes, sadly, he's never knowingly sober. So, okay, who's making the call?
Agnar will make the call.
Okay. You make the call, and after a couple of moments, it's answered by the voice of Ormel Helinsky, the governor. Hello? I don't know who this is.
Hello, Governor Helinsky. It's Agnar Arnson, 17th Rift Runners, former general. You met with us briefly earlier on in
I
your
remember.
office.
Yes.
Yes. My apologies for the unsolicited call. All will become clear once I explain. But we're not planning to be in system for too much longer. We thought we'd just obviously remind you of the glorious deal we struck up for the resupply of the larger ship coming in behind us, and we wanted to take this opportunity to thank you and to invite you to an evening of fine dining and revelry aboard our ship, the Baltic Star. As it happens, we have a friend of yours with us, the one Sir Arlen Locke, which is of course how we came about your private number. I hope you don't mind.
Arlen's with you.
Yes, he's very much looking forward to catching up with you.
Oh well, can you roll a persuade for me, please, with intellect or social?
Seeing as it's a soiree, very kind of you, then. Oh, that's okay. That's good. That's 9 plus 3.
Okay.
12.
He immediately says, "Oh, of course, that would be lovely. Just me, or should I bring other people?"
Oh, well, we were thinking more of a small scale private to do, if you will. We are quite limited for space, but we do quite well with what we have, I feel. If you wanted to bring a +1, we would happily accommodate.
Oh well, yes. I mean, there are a few here who I think met Arlen the last time we were in the same space, and maybe would like to reconnect.
Sorry, I just scurried away. Arlen was stood right by me. He was sort of shaking his head a little bit. Could you I think one or two people might have come across poorly to him. Who is it you were looking to bring? Just so I can prepare him, of course.
Well, I was thinking my chief of staff, possibly Jalek Jin, would be a good invite.
That is definitely one of the names that I'm afraid to say Sir Arlen was found it quite awkward to be around. Not in any terrible way, I must say, from what we've heard. But perhaps perhaps it might be quite nice if you brought along one of your an aide, or we could extend to them some form of fine dining, and you could also have the assistance of someone at your beck and call for the evening.
Well, I suppose, yes, I could do that. Yes, I don't see why not. There's a senior guardian who acts as my assistant and is also a bit of a bodyguard. I could bring her.
That sounds wonderful. Agnar slightly wince. Yes, we would very much like to meet them and to entertain them on board.
Excellent. Then, is tonight too soon?
Agnar checks the time on his device. What's the time, Ben?
I think we're going to say, given how much time you've spent doing this, that it's mid-afternoon, probably.
Yeah, no, I would say that tonight is perfect. Should we say somewhere in the region of 8 o'clock?
Okay. Yes, that sounds lovely.
Well, we very much look forward to your arrival, and again, apologies for the intrusion from an unknown number.
No problem at all. It was very nice to hear from you. I will see you later.
Very good day to you, sir. I'll hang up.
He'll hear Cara from a distance. A very good day to you, sir.
Shut up. That was really awkward. And he'll scurry over. Listen, I panicked. I said he could bring a +1. And then he wanted to bring, what's the name? Jin. What's his name? Jin. Jin. He wanted to bring Jin.
A +1.
Oh, I panicked. He said, "Is what just me?" And I was like, "Well, that's suspicious." So I said, "No, you can bring a +1."
Oh my goodness! Have you been watching Pride and Prejudice again?
There was a little bit of that.
Dance.
Anyway, he's going to bring a somebody who's quite high. He's not going to bring Jin because I talked him out of it. I said that that Locke was found it quite awkward to get on with him last time they met. So he's going to bring someone who's quite high up in the Guardians.
Oh my goodness!
And is kind of a bodyguard.
Oh my
he's
goodness!
Not head of the secret police.
Oh my goodness!
Not head
right.
of the secret police.
Okay.
And that should be counted as a victory, I feel. He's going to be here tonight, 8 o'clock.
Right. Tonight?
Yeah.
8 o'clock?
Yeah. Which gives us like 5 hours, give or take.
That's gonna half the crew gonna need to sleep for that 5 hours. I tell you, the way they've been going on.
Well, we can send them to front of ship or something. We can create an emergency.
This is the front of ship.
But listen, you left me to make the phone call. What do you expect?
Rose.
We've been there before, many a time.
Rose. We've got someone coming over.
Okay.
He's fancy. He's a fancy boy, real fancy boy. He's the big cheese. Le grand fromage, they say around some parts. What could you knock up some nice food in that time at all?
Yeah, sure.
Not toasted sandwiches though.
No problem at all.
Cool.
We could do soup.
What flavour soup?
Soup flavored.
Oh, wonderful.
I don't know what I've got yet. I'll look. Soup and then possibly stew, and then a pudding.
You're a long time ago, your family wasn't part of the Slithe clan, was it?
Listen, I don't suppose you could make some canapes for arrival at 8 o'clock, could you? They're basically like those open toasted sandwiches, but cold.
Cara, Soraya thrust a hand out with cheesy balls in. You could do something with
No.
these.
Well, yeah.
I've got the fancy ones. Got the fancy ones. Melt the top a little bit.
Don't worry. I'll take care of it. It'll be fine.
Put some tiny little microgreens on top, just a little sprinkling of each one, and make it look. That'd be wonderful.
Cara will look around the room. Kron, my man, you all right? You recovered? You look good after your shower, man.
Much better, thank you.
It's good. How do you feel having a lads' night tonight? A few drinks in the cabin, watch some sports, maybe. Very much stay in a cabin with someone. Staying in the cabin is important, but drinks and sport.
If you want me out of the way, just say
not you.
Be somewhere else.
Not you. We love you. We just think you're the right man for the job. She nods over towards the lecherous, leering Cags.
It gets worse every time.
He says, so let me get this straight. You're going to have some kind of a party.
Oh, you wouldn't like it.
And you're not going to invite Cags.
No, we're not inviting Cags.
And the logic is, if I sit in a room with him, he'll be happy with that rather than a party.
It's not a party. It's fine dining.
Yeah, he doesn't know it's. He doesn't
No,
know.
don't tell him it's
He doesn't
that.
know that it's happening. He doesn't know it's happening.
Will the fine dining come with booze?
Tell him it's a tax audit.
Yeah,
We're doing a tax audit.
look. What we've got. Look, Agnar. I found out right. He's been keeping some super special whiskey on the down low. He's not told anyone about, and he'll give you one of those bottles for kegs tonight. Real
Three
rare stuff.
quarters, and he measures out the bottle that they've already opened. That tastes a bit off.
All right, I'll take him away and we'll drink ourselves unconscious.
And in return, man, we'll never take you on an away mission again.
That's a great deal. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. I'm glad you're good. You're glad you're good. I'm worried for a bit. I'm very worried for a bit. You're one of my faves.
It's nice to hear.
Do you want caboodling with you as well?
If the cat comes, we'll play with the cat.
Okay. Have you put the cat flap in your cabin door yet?
No, but you know, the cat will open a door if it walks up to it. So if it comes to say hi, that's great. Cags and the cat seem to get on great for some reason.
They do, don't they? I've noticed that. So, there's no accounting for taste, I suppose. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Oh, Agnar, anyone else we need to prep?
In the background, you see Kron wander over and stop by Gerald Cags and hold out his hand for Rose to pass him a nice bottle of whiskey. And he sort of starts reading off the label and walking away, and you see Cags get up and follow him quite tamely.
I feel like the place is classied up already.
Certainly. As for prep, I'd say potentially Tally if she's staying hidden for the early part, and then we need some kind of signal if we want her to make herself known once you're set up, if need be.
You know, the person to keep Tally safe is Zoe, right?
That's a good idea. I like that.
Do you want to go check with Zoe, and I'll go and chat with the potential waiting staff?
We should also invite Sir Arlen's crew, perhaps, just as guests.
That would be lovely.
I don't think they need prepping, but you know, the more people there makes it feel a bit more of a thing, and adds a bit of validity to him being here. I don't know if we've got a backstory as to how we met them, but maybe we could come up with one of those.
They're his crew, I suppose. They're his.
No, not the crew, just Sir Arlen and his entourage in general. You know, how we came about them.
Oh,
Might be good to get that straight beforehand.
that's a good idea. Good idea.
You prep those. I'll speak to Zoe, and then I guess I'll speak to Tally. Unless you want to do that, you might be better.
We'll see. Finish first.
Nah,
Clara puts her hands in the pockets of a jumpsuit and wanders off over in the direction of Cat, leaving you for Zoe.
And Agnar will wander off in the direction of where is Zoe currently?
In the bar. Pretty
With
much everybody is.
Yeah, it's a lovely time in the bar, to be honest. It's very nice.
It's been quite a pleasant morning. Lunchtime. I think it bled over from the night before. If I'm not
Well, you were up sort of in time for a sort of mid brunch, if you remember, and then and it's dragged on a bit through second and third brunch into the mid afternoon.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, we'll go and find Zoe.
Okay, well let's do that first then. So you go and say hi to Zoe.
Have you got a minute for just a quiet word?
Sure.
And we'll wander away from the majority of the rest of the bar over to one of the dark. What was it, Luke? Dark. conspiratorial corners.
The dark
I believe
conspiratorial
that's what it
corners.
was. Yeah,
There's a
Yeah.
few of them, I believe.
Of the brilliantly lit, completely round room.
yeah, conspiratorial corners. Yeah, that's the one. Listen, we've got I forget how much you're aware, but we've got a bit of a plan for what's happening on the planet. We want to sort of find out whether the governor is aware that his daughter is actually alive,
Okay.
or whether he was part of the misinformation and conspiracy
Yeah.
spreading her death. We've invited him here to the ship for an evening of food and drinks in the company of Sir Arlen Locke. But until we know that she's going to be safe and that he was hopefully misinformed about her demise and he wasn't part of the lie, we'd like to keep her hidden and out of the way and
Fair enough.
safe. And when we mentioned safe, Cara and I immediately thought, who better? He gestures out. Would
right.
you mind keeping that? I believe the plan is to entertain here in the bar. But would you mind keeping Tally safe? We're going to inform her of the plan. I think she's already informed of most of it. So it'd just be keeping her company and making sure that everything goes to plan.
Not a problem.
Wonderful. There might also be the opportunity that we could use it for. It's the best way to put this. There is no best way to put this. Some propaganda on the planet. Should I believe the plan is that if the governor wasn't aware, then we would potentially reveal Tally to him, because then we feel as though she would be safe if he wasn't part of the lie.
I understand. So
And
effectively,
perhaps broadcast that. There'll be a signal.
so as far as my job is concerned, you want me to sort of take her to my cabin, sit with her for a while, make sure she's okay and not getting too nervous or anything like that, and keep her there until you let me know that she needs to come back to the bar.
Yeah, and then we could let you both know. We could come up with a word. What's a good word?
Well, you could say something like, come back to the bar.
I was hoping, to just drop a group message and just make it quick. But okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll either say come back to the bar if we want you to come back to the bar, or I'll say stay where you are if we want you to stay where you are.
And I'm not supposed to let her know that I'm keeping her under arrest.
Oh no, it's fine. We're gonna you're not arrest, keeping us safe whilst this is happening. I believe that I'm gonna one of us is going to inform her of exactly what the plan is, so that we're not misleading her in any way, and she will know that you're looking after her whilst this is happening and keeping her company.
All right.
But if that changes, I'll let you know.
That's
I'll
fine.
probably say that's changed if that's changed.
No, that's absolutely fine. Yes, let's do that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated, as always.
Okay. So, Kat was going to go and see. Sorry, other way around. Cara was going to go and see Kat.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And as I approach her, I'll call Johnny over as well. Johnny, come on, mate. I want to chat with you and Kat. Come on. Oh, let's take a seat in one of the lighter, less conspiratorial centre parts of the of Baspar, on these nice stools. We're having a party this evening.
Good.
It is good. It's nice. It's nice to bring a bit of positivity to the Baltic Star. The guy that's coming is the guy that heads up the planet downstairs.
Right.
Hobnobbing with dystopian rulers isn't my favourite thing, but apparently it's for the greater good.
Right.
Um, as you know, we're trying to enact change, as is our way. You both know this. You're used to it by now. But the governor's coming. He's bringing someone, and there's going to be Tally's going to be hiding away, but Sir Locke's going to be there. Sir Locke's crew's going to be there, and we want to make a good impression to the big cheese. And I'd love for you to work as waiting staff. I know it's beyond your remit. Honestly, Kat, you're the best pilot I've literally ever met. You're hot, you're funny, you're young, you're cool, you're everything that everyone wants to be. And I know this is a bit beneath you. Johnny, yeah, Johnny, you're good for the job.
Mm-hmm.
We just want, if we just want you to serve him, be attentive. Whichever one he takes more of a liking to would be the one that tends to serve him a bit more, whilst the other one would take on more of the rest. Is that okay with you guys for the good of what we're planning here?
Yeah, no problem.
I know it's not ideal, and there'll be once he's done, there's booze, there's parties, there's all sorts that we need, and it's we're trying to make sure that we can keep him on side and make a change that's good for the people down below. So we're all going to potentially have to do things that are a little bit unpleasant maybe over the next day or so. Potentially. Hopefully it's smooth, but we never know.
All right. Yeah, let's give it a go. Kat seemed to take a little bit of convincing because if there's a nice party going on, she very much wants to be in the party.
And she's used to being in the party, isn't she? With
But
Geeka.
Johnny's pretty much one of those guys who just shrugs his shoulders and goes, "Whatever you need." So, yeah, the two of them are on board.
He's bringing a bodyguard with him, Johnny. I know you always keep a shank about yourself, but make sure it's well hidden, yeah? Because if he spots it, I don't want there to be grief.
Yeah. I mean, what do we know about the bodyguard? Are they going to be armed?
Two of them, probably.
Okay.
We'll try and... well, I think it's only fair that when we went to the planet, we had to leave our weapons behind. I think it's only fair that the bodyguard should have to leave theirs behind. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. It's fair. I'm just not sure it's what's going to happen, but I agree it's fair.
We'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can, even if it's small arms or the gun kept not on their arm, try and get them to eat, perhaps. Just something that doesn't mean they're standing there with a rifle in their arms on our ship at all times.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And we're not completely without people who know how to handle themselves in a fight.
It's been known. We've not done too badly so far.
Let's just hope it doesn't come to that.
No, well, that's it. I need to tell Stefan that he can't just walk around with his shotgun glove on.
It would be hard to explain at a fancier party, yes.
That's true. Anyway, cheers, guys. We've got about 5 hours, so do what you need to do in that time. Grab a bit of downtime, do what you need, and we'll put Agnar and I'll put a call out when we need people ready.
Okay. All right. Let's do that then. Now, is there anyone else you need to prep, or do people basically know their roles now?
Rose cooking, Kron with Kegs, Zoe with Tally, Johnny and Kat. Can you think of anyone, Ewan?
Does Tally know the plan?
Yeah, she was there for most of the plotting. So,
planning.
I mean, I don't think you've necessarily made it completely clear to her that the truth serum might cause her father serious harm. But beyond that,
Agnar will briefly brief her on the fact that Zoe's looking after her, and that we'll send a signal if we want them to come through. But he won't go into depth of the truth serum.
Is it 2D damage, isn't it? Is it 2D damage? It's a bit of damage.
yeah, it's potentially up to 2D.
Yeah, which wouldn't kill him, but it'd knock him down.
Yeah, it depends what you roll, of course.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if it's a double 1, it's not too bad. If it's double 6, then yeah, that could render him unconscious.
Yeah. Well, lucky we've got an excellent medical team here on the Baltic Star.
That's true.
Equipped with some top quality med packs.
But I believe that's everyone.
Yeah.
Once Agnar's told that, he will catch up with Kara very quickly, if that's all right.
Yeah. What's up, Aggers? You good?
Zoe's on it. She's well on it.
She always is.
Tally knows what's happening. We're all good.
Right.
Did you inform the staff about the silver service, the Varga silver service, of course, and the standards they have to uphold?
They'll do what they can do. Neither of them are waiting staff. Let's face it. I'm pretty certain Kat would rather be sat at the table rather than standing behind it. But
at least she's familiar with.
She knows the she's got expectations.
Yeah.
She knows. Yeah.
Precisely. Have you thought about music?
Well, stuff. I am a bit of a performer myself, of course. I can play many instruments, but it's probably for the best that I don't. We don't want to ruin the night. I've got I managed to find this old tape. It's from Soraya's. It was in her box. It's from her old scouting days. She called it. It's Soraya's scouting mix. That'd be good, I reckon.
Yes, I agree. Let's do it. Sounds wonderful. Do we have a plan for what we're doing if things go poorly and we need to resort to the old, plan B?
Plan B's get out of Dodge, isn't it?
No. The truth serum.
I don't want to if it knocks the man out, have a first aid kit stashed nearby.
Don't worry, I've always got one.
So at least you're there. You can be the hero. You can save his life. That's even more heroic. We'll just say it's some dodgy food or something. I don't know.
That's true. If I do, get it on film because that'll be really good for.
The Johnny Cat made a good point about the bodyguard being armed. It might be worth trying to dissuade them as a gesture of goodwill from coming in fully armed to dinner. Maybe if we put on a show of not being armed ourselves.
Well, we're all going to take both of our arms off.
Yeah.
That seems ridiculous. I'm a good medic, but I'm not that good. I know what you mean. Good, it's a good plan. It's a good plan. Well, in moments of high pressure, levity is it's important.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's meet this monster. Let's wine him, dine him. Maybe reintroduce him to his daughter. And let's enact some change, man.
You should know the code. I told Zoe there'd be a code. If we want them to come back to the bar, we're going to send them both a message saying, "Come back to the bar."
Okay.
And if we want to say where they are, we're going to send them both a message that says, "Stay where you are."
This is why
it was Zoe's idea.
This is why you never made general pre-retirement. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. I'm gonna go grab a shower. I'm gonna grab like 90 minutes sleep. Mate, you know me, it'll be 3 hours sleep. And let's get back together for the evening and let's make this work. Let's make this a good thing.
I like it. It's a good plan.
It's for the good of Darkmoon. It's for the future of the people, man. The people of the
Don't.
future. Have you ever heard that?
Someone did tell me that once. I can't remember who it was.
That's what I believe, anyway.
Okay, so you prepare your final preparations, and at the appointed hour, the canapes are waiting. The drinks are already poured on trays. Kat and Johnny have changed into black outfits to look discreet but efficient. And everyone except for four people that you've carefully told to be out of the way, three of whom know that's what they're there for, are hidden away in cabins and not immediately visible. And bang on the stroke of 8 p.m., the governor arrives at the docking port to the ship. And you can see on your external camera that next to him is a young woman with a distinctive scar on the side of her face. It's the kind of thing that you could quite easily have repaired in, if you had money and access to a good high tech surgeon, they could easily have dealt with it. And yet it's there and quite livid and obvious, either implying she doesn't get off this world very often, or that she's unable to seek such treatment, or possibly she likes it. Who knows? As they arrive, the chime goes off to indicate that people are waiting, and it's up to you. Are you going to open the hatch?
Agnar will, he's not wearing his combat armor, which is very unlike him. He is dressed in his more formal military garb. A couple of medals on display. And he'll just straighten himself up a little bit and look over to Kara. Shall we?
Kara is in a flight suit, a bit artistically edited, I suppose, but looking relatively decent for a young lady as herself. She has she does have a pistol shoved into her back, sort of waistband type area, and has ensured that a few of our weapons are to places that we know, stashed as we would have them if needed around.
Taped under the table.
Taped under the table, exactly. And she nods at Agnar, says, "Well, you can't make an olive without breaking eggs." And she sort of nods to Agnar to welcome them in.
And he will open the doors.
Okay. You open the door, and the two step inside. They both glance around the ship, which from this perspective looks like pretty much any other ship. And the governor says, "Good evening. Thank you for having us." And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Seems like a good a place as any. Things have not gone wrong as of yet.
No.
Well, I mean, arguably.
Arguably.
We changed plans, Spez. The governor's now come up to our ship for a meeting. things changed, so we're taking him on our turn.
They certainly did.
We have a Rose's cat. The last
Oh,
Rose's cat.
A Rose's
I wasn't expecting one this evening. There it is.
Okay. Believe it or not, this is chapter 60.
Oh,
So, Rachel Axis continued the tour of the Baltic Star with her tourist in tow. Young, enthusiastic, and a little bit too literal for her own good, Star Orica had been impressed with the engine room, and she'd never been in a space reserved for low berths. The large coffin-like pods could each hold a person in suspended animation, effectively like a sophisticated deep freeze. Most people avoided the room, finding it creepy, but Orica was fascinated. She was so interested that she was able to ignore the small cat which was rubbing against her legs. Well, she was able to ignore it for a few seconds before crouching and stroking the tiny animal. She looked up at Axis. You often transport people in these? Axis shook her head. Never, in fact. People sometimes don't survive the process, and it's a bad thing for morale if we have to deal with the dead too often. Orica shrugged. So perhaps this space would be more useful if you adapted it into more engineering space. Axis laughed at that. I get the feeling that you think all of the ship would be better as engineering spaces. Orica shrugged. Well, it'd be more efficient. People can be fitted in between engines, fuel tanks, jump drives. People only need a soft thing that can be unrolled for them to sleep. Axis grinned at her. I'll be sure to mention it to the crew. Maybe they'll love the idea. I'm sure they will, Orica said. Now, this space is entirely useless, so it should definitely be turned over to engineering. Axis tried to give the impression she was considering it. I wouldn't say this area is completely useless. She touched a control on one of the pods, and it began to go through its cycle intended to restore its contents to normal conditions. It would take a few minutes, so she passed the time watching Orica pet the cat. After a particularly intense bit of stroking, Orica looked up in surprise. The cat is buzzing. Axis nodded. That means it's getting a call. Hold it up to your ear. Orica's eyes were wide as she did so. Immediately the kitten started batting at her head. I can hear buzzing. How do I answer the call? Axis laughed. Purring. It's called purring. It just means the cat is happy. And about to be happier. Oh, said Orica, lowering Caboodle to the deck and resuming the stroking. Axis opened the low berth, now it had finished its process, and reached inside, retrieving a container of food. She opened it and put it on the floor for the cat. Immediately, Caboodle raced over to it and began eating, still purring. We use it to store perishables, you see. Orica nodded. Exactly what it was designed for. People are very perishable. Axis looked at her. Not on my ship, they aren't. On my ship, people are looked after. Does the term people include the cat? Orica pointed at the little creature. Axis folded her arms. The term people includes the cat above all.
A very good point. Well made.
good old boy. I'm glad that the low berths are getting some use as freezers. That's good. Efficient. That's what I like. That is good. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Spez.
Thank you,
for
Sparrow. I
flicking
hope
it.
you enjoyed.
As it always does. Always does. Right. That is us for this evening. Thank you, dear friends, for joining us. Whether you were from the beginning or in the last few minutes. It's lovely to get some travel in. I feel like it's been a few weeks. And you and I do love it when you go formal. And Agnes to do his thing.
It just adds to the awkwardness.
Exactly. He's what a floofy guy he is. Tomorrow night we are back. It's Saturday night, and we have a guest, a friend of the show. John is back because it's time to dust off your smoking jacket, find the darkest corner of your room, and light a fire, a blanket over your knees, and join us for some Tony and Rudy. They're working their way down the Danube with our dear friend Gaston in tow. And they're trying to work out what's going on with this sinister band chasing ancient artifacts. And that will be tomorrow evening from somewhere between 11 and 12. It will start, it will run not too late because our beloved John is he's 2 hours ahead of us. And so that's tomorrow night. I'm excited. What's it going to be like? easing your way back into those trousers, Ben, after so much time?
Oh, I tell you, trousers are a very important part of a Tony and Rudy and Gaston story. They are very, very important part of the story. I think they may be the most important part.
I think so. They're definitely in the top one.
Definitely in the top one. Yes, yes, yeah. I'm very much looking forward to some mad Indiana Holmes stuff.
It's going to be fun. It's been a while, so it's going to be wonderful to get that back going again. So that is tomorrow night, and then it'll be Bank Holiday Monday, which is lovely, relaxing for most, and life is good. But until then, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you, and take care, sleep well, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers. Good night.
Good night.